Hello everyone, we're back from the FanStands with another video. Today finally our Honhar Dayan is back.
Clap
Yeah.
applause for it.
So as always we're going to be covering this week's EPL matches. 24 matches have gone by and now it's game week 25 and Liverpool has all but won the league. So let's start with the other big matches this week. So first, let's start with the Tottenham versus Manchester City game. Manchester City is coming back from a good result against Sheffield, but they lost to Manchester United last night in the Carabao Cup, but still ended up qualifying for the final. So let's start with that. So Dayan, Manchester United coming up against City and winning at the Etihad. So what do you think?
Well, in yesterday's game, United, actually City, didn't exactly play badly. They didn't do badly in that game. They had put on a lot of pressure on United. Defense for United would be that they're a injury-stricken team, and most of their major players were out, with one of their major names up front, Rashford, being out, Pogba's out, McTominay is out. So obviously, I wasn't expecting, and with a 3-1 loss at home, I wasn't expecting them to come back. But United played smartly. I wouldn't say that they controlled the game. City controlled the game majorly, but I feel that Pep Guardiola was fairly clear with his objectives for that game and the outcome of that game. He wanted to obviously qualify for the Carabao Cup, and which he did. He's into the final, and although United won, and yet they still bow to the cup.
Yeah, I believe United needed to score 3 goals at least to even have a chance, and it was pretty difficult going to Etihad and scoring twice and not getting a
No,
reply.
as in it's not about going to the to Etihad and scoring twice, as in
Thrice.
no, thrice, sorry. But because City or
Without reply.
Etihad, City's home ground or the Etihad Stadium is not like going to probably Liverpool's home ground, Anfield or Stamford Bridge, or the Emirates even for that matter. Because at the end of the day, City has been sort of a very recent boomer in terms of the big brands of football, and the kind of supporters base that they have at the moment isn't as big as the other clubs do.
Yeah.
So
The
it's
stadium was
not a
quite
big deal,
empty.
but then obviously playing against a team which on paper is a meticulously well planned, put together team, obviously is fairly hard to do. And with the kind of midfield that they had, for the first 20-25 minutes, United was sort of came across as sort of clueless. So I don't think City has anything to probably be negative about,
Yeah.
from that loss against United. They've hit their target and they're into the final. So I don't see anything that should be stopping Pep Guardiola or his team from
So
being positive.
So coming to the other side of this big match, Tottenham. So Tottenham finally won against Norwich, against our prediction. We were predicting a draw again.
Draw again.
So
Six
yeah.
consecutive
So
draws.
from after a line of draws, Mourinho finally came up with the goods against Norwich. So
Yeah, he did. Norwich is struggling, obviously, in the league. Favorites to get relegated, but that has to be seen of what happens in the last 4 or 5 games of the season.
100%.
But the thing is, Tottenham will struggle. I mean, they were okay in that game. There was a patch in that match where when Norwich came back,
yeah.
the crowd started jeering Spurs, the home fans. They were not happy with the way Tottenham was playing with Mourinho's tactics, because the problem is they're missing a lot of players. They're another team who have been struck with injuries. I mean, Eriksen, he's finally left for Inter Milan now.
Yeah.
He was looking very off color in that match,
100%.
and they're missing Harry Kane. They're without Harry Kane. He's out till probably the end of April. We've discussed that before.
Yes.
So they need to buy a striker who can cover in for Harry Kane until he's out, and when Harry Kane comes back, so that player knows that he might have to be on the bench, or probably be used as a sub if
Yeah.
needed. Okay.
Agreed.
So
He won't be the number one choice.
yeah, well, it is not easy. I mean, I know I'm jumping the ship in my predictions, but if you bench Harry Kane or if you don't give him the minutes he wants, then he'll probably want to leave the club. And Spurs are in no position to let Harry Kane go. He's their captain, and he's a prolific goal scorer, very
100%.
consistent
He's
for the
brilliant.
past 3-4 seasons for
Agreed.
Spurs.
Definitely.
But they have brought in some reinforcements. They have got in Gerson Fernandes in, and yes, he needs some time. And they've brought in Steven Bergwijn from the Dutch league, who plays as a winger for PSV Eindhoven. But they still need to find a striker. Lo Celso's been getting his chances, and he's been playing very brilliant for Spurs. But they still need some time to come back to their best.
But do you really think that, considering that tomorrow is the deadline day for this particular transfer window, you really think they'd be able to, push through another signing for themselves?
See, they need to. They were linked with Edison Cavani, but so for the even Chelsea as well.
Even United, for that matter,
yes, I was
their
coming to
offer
that,
was
because he's a striker. I mean,
declined.
yes, he might not be
At the prime.
at his prime, and
But he's a good fix.
in the wrong side of his 30s. But he's a good fix. At least he's a name. He's someone who
100%.
has a proven record in Europe.
100%,
Okay, and he's so someone who has experience, and I don't think he would have required a lot of time. Like if you bring in a new young player who might need some time to
To
adjust.
develop and adjust.
So he's someone who's already developed. The only thing was he just needed a few run of games to get to become adapted to the speed of the league.
Yeah, but having said that, your point on the matter that when Harry Kane comes back, would Cavani be
See,
happy with
Cavani,
getting
obviously,
benched?
even I think he would, even at Atletico Madrid, where he's probably bound. He's bound to go to Spain, the Spanish capital. I don't think he'll become a regular starter. But the thing is, because I think there are issues with Diego Costa at Atletico Madrid. So let's see. But like I said, he's at the wrong side of the 30s, and you cannot expect. I mean, a player should know that it's not easy for them to be a regular every time.
And like that's something, it reminds me of, if Tottenham brings in Edison Cavani in, it's sort of like that fix back in the day when, Sir Alex Ferguson brought in Robin Van Persie or even Berbatov for that
Even
matter.
Henrik Larsson, if
you
you
know.
remember. The
Yeah, it was a loan deal. Yeah,
So,
it worked out really well.
it's
Very
it's
well.
it's a temporary fix, obviously. And if Edison Cavani does decide on coming to Tottenham, I'm sure that with his experience he obviously understands the implications of having Harry Kane in the squad as well. Because Harry
Definitely.
Kane is a fan favorite at Tottenham. He's got a proven track record in the EPL. So he's obviously always going to be their first choice. Plus he's also younger and he's English at the end of the day. So
And he's the English captain.
exactly. So he's definitely going to be their first choice. And if Edison Cavani does choose to come in, then obviously he'd have all of these implications and consequences in his head as well. But talking about United, we did miss out on one thing. Bruno Fernandes is finally official.
Yeah.
And he has entered the realm of the theatre of dreams. I just wanted it to sound like the scene from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, we'll come back to we'll come back to United in a bit.
So
Let's come back.
Sorry, Sonia. I want to continue.
Sure.
So the thing was, yes, Cavani most likely. If you talk about chances, I think it's very slim that he'll come to Spurs. They were linked with Christoph Piatek from AC Milan, but now the rumors, because Milan wanted 30 or 35 million.
Tottenham was.
Yeah, sorry, Tottenham wanted 35. No, I mean Milan wanted 35 from anyone interested for
Piatek.
Piatek,
Piatek,
but
yeah.
he's not in the best of forms. When he signed for Milan, I guess last season around the same time in January, he was very good, firing.
On all cylinders.
On all cylinders, but he's not informed this season. That is why Milan had to resort to the extent of bringing Ibrahimovic back. I mean, someone who's around 37, 38.
And Piatek has been linked with other clubs as well,
Yes, but he's different from Cavani. I mean, like you said, Cavani is someone who's very fully developed, experienced, and just you can even start with him, even if he doesn't give you goals. I mean, his physique, he's a very strong and physical striker, so his name up there, it is a threat on its own. So Piatek is fairly young and lacks experience, and things haven't worked out for him in Milan. So a lot of question marks that would you pay that amount to bring in Piatek to fill in for Harry Kane. So I don't know who they can go for. If Giroud was another option, but he's probably Inter bound.
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, a lot of players have been going to Inter this
Yeah, because
this
Conte,
period.
the relation with Conte, a lot of ex-former Chelsea players
Yeah.
and few, I think Ashley Young, yeah, one United player has left.
Lukaku.
Yeah,
Lukaku as well before.
yeah.
So yeah, the Premier League connection
Is there. So coming back to the match, so what do you guys think about the upcoming match? Tottenham hasn't been scoring really well up front. They've had a string of draws and finally a win, barely a win. They were going for a draw again, but right at the end, Son scored.
Yes.
Yeah,
Norwich.
and City, although they recently just lost, but like we just discussed, they weren't, they weren't really playing full pedal to the metal. So, what do you think? Is City going to outlast Tottenham, or is it going to be a draw?
I think City are the favourites because
Yes.
Mourinho is missing that attacking element, and he has a few new signings who need time to adjust in. So
Plus,
plus, sorry, just want to continue. I
Yeah.
think yes, both sides defensively aren't the best, but I still think because City's attack, it exceeds the quality of what Spurs have right now without Harry Kane.
Yeah.
And other than that, even Pep and Mourinho, they do have history, from the Spanish league as well. And I feel that as history tells us, even with United for that matter, um, Pep understands Mourinho, Mourinho understands Pep. But the difference here is that Mourinho has a very pragmatic approach to such matches, and obviously with the weaker squad, he's going to be overly pragmatic about it. And Pep's team,
Going up front
they
is-
may be weak defensively, but they're very strong going forward.
I'd say they're even stronger than Liverpool.
But Laporte is back now.
Yeah, Laporte is back, and I'd say they're even stronger than Liverpool going up front.
Yes, they are.
Exactly.
They are. There's no doubt. Hassan, even on paper, even if you talk about the squad depth, they're very strong. Okay, they have big names.
And Pep knows how to break down Mourinho teams as well, in
Definitely.
big matches as well. It's a big match, and I would personally also agree with Mohsen that City is definitely going to be the favourites for this match. If Tottenham does manage to either get a draw or win this match, then I feel winning this match would be more of an upset from my personal
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree with you that I think it would be an upset. And
exactly.
they're going to go with the same way they try to go against Liverpool. Hassan, if you remember, we spoke about this 2 weeks ago.
Definitely.
They're going to go defensive on the counter. They will try to utilize the pace of Son and Mora up front. And now Lo Celso is settling well into the Premier League and that Spurs squad. So he's also going to be the key to try and feed those balls to the front, the people at the front.
Yeah, so we all predict that City is going to win this match, but if in the case Tottenham does get a draw or a win for that matter, they are in the seat to actually leapfrog United for the 5th position, because they are at the moment at the same points with United, and if United loses and Tottenham gets a result, then they go up one
Well,
place.
it's the league is pretty tight at the moment. Top three have been decided
More or less.
already, more or less decided. But when you're
Their
talking
goal
about the
difference
4th
in points.
position, it's
Fourth
still a
spot.
very open field there.
Yeah.
Because it's very tight, and obviously with Bruno Fernandes coming in, that's a major step up in terms of the quality of players that they have at the moment. I feel that that there's more positivity in the sense that and plus if you saw the City versus United game, that there was one very peculiar thing that I've never seen to date. I've never seen Ole really do. He saw Lingard losing possession a lot. He came onto the technical area, and the way he was fuming really showed that he wants them to succeed. He wants United to succeed, and he wants them to do better
But it
in
also shows
any
that
cup as well.
it's also-
And he's frustrated as
And
well.
he's under pressure.
100% he's under pressure. Why wouldn't he be under pressure? Because it's a big club and he understands the gravity of it. So I do feel that United would be going for a win here, and obviously against Wolves, I feel that they have a better chance winning the game as well. So let's see what happens.
They're playing at Old Trafford this week, and coming off a loss versus Burnley, they really need to win this one.
Well, Burnley and Wolves, if you look at Burnley and Wolves, there's a fair difference between the two in terms of, Burnley has been able to, pull off very big upsets this season. And they've been a problem for United as well. It's not like, United's always had a very smooth sail through it. Plus, you also need to factor in the fact that, United recently lost a couple of players when they were playing Wolves last. And this time around, the same players have played a run of games and they've won a couple as well. So I do feel that United's definitely obviously going to try going for the win, and they have a very big probability as well to win this match.
Definitely,
They
they are
reach
the
at
favorites.
home at the end of the day.
They have to go for a win. I mean,
100%.
in the past few matches when Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs have dropped points, United has failed to capitalize. But then
100%.
it won't be easy because Liverpool, if you Hassan remember, they played Wolves, and I like to take one thing back. Sorry, I said Jimenez wasn't in form, and I rechecked those stats, and
Yeah.
he's scored 20 goals in all competitions, and he has 8 or 6 assists for a striker,
Definitely.
so that is very good. The threat for United would be on that left-hand side, and the player to watch out for is Adama Traore, who's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, he was a nuisance for Andy Robertson on the left as well as Van Dijk.
Yeah.
I mean, if Van Dijk was in that match, Liverpool would have struggled big time. So how do you think, who are the players for United who you think will be able to stop someone who's this, a player like Adama Traore, who is a speed demon?
So see, at the moment when you're talking about the left flank that United has, if we were talking about Ashley Young, I would still be very scared about the fact that and dubious over the fact if he'd be able to stop the player or not. But now that you have two left backs in the form of A. Brandon Williams and B. Shaw. We don't really have a lack of pace in that particular position at the moment. Plus, I feel that with Bruno Fernandes coming in as well, he will come off the bench in that game. He will
Probably.
put in a debut as well. I am 100% sure about that. He's probably going to play the last 25 minutes or 30 minutes, just to get a feeler of what it's like playing at Old Trafford, because it's a home game. It's a good way to unveil the player as well to the crowd. But all in all, you've got Matic, you've got a brilliant, defensive line. Yes. Uh, I don't see them, slipping a lot against Wolves at the moment. Yes, Wolves, United slipping against Wolves. I personally see that as an upset.
But we're talking about Bruno Fernandes, a playmaker definitely, and I think he's going to replace Lingard in the coming after coming few matches once he settles in. But Bruno Fernandes, I mean, he's only as good as the players in front of him. So what about the striking options, United? Are they linked to someone?
No, as in they are behind closed doors. Rumor has it that United is trying to sign a striker. But then again, my point is, at the moment, a lot of people have been accusing Martial or bad mouthing Martial about him being lethargic, him doing him not scoring goals, and all of that. If you look at Martial with Rashford and Martial without Rashford, he's two different players, as a whole. That's primarily because, when Martial is without Rashford and in a game where, the CM or the central attacking midfielder isn't really putting in a good service for these attacking players, you notice
to
that
come
he
back.
usually has to track back, he usually has to organize the attack, and he usually is the player that links up the final third. Which I feel, and I brought this up in one of our previous videos as well, that if you're expecting goals from Martial, you should let him do that job. With Bruno Fernandes coming in, I feel that now you have a player who can be that linker, that game maker between them, and who could use Martial better. Because even if you look at Brandon Williams, Dan James, or even Diego Dalot playing in that recent FA Cup game,
Yeah.
you look at them, they were throwing in good crosses, but Martial was nowhere to be found within that.
Because he was tracking back to start of the play.
Exactly. So he's never at the right place at the right time, which I don't. I feel like judging him on that and judging him on the current scenario that the that the team is holistically, is sort of very brutal and unfair to the player as well.
Yeah, and also United coming off 2 wins. Also, they were against one was against a smaller team, and
Fanmade Rovers.
yeah,
6-1.
and City was not really playing to its full, but still two
Well,
wins.
City was playing to its full for
Right,
sure.
right.
City had 70% of the possession.
But
as
it was
in,
still not the City.
No, City
I
were.
haven't seen the match, so.
Did you see those
see,
yeah,
saves
but
by
whatever the
Big
case,
Dave?
Yeah, but let me finish my point. They're coming up from 2 wins, and they just got a star signing as well. So the mood would be uplifted, and
Mood should be uplifted. I mean, see, Hassan, if you look back, I mean, Oli, he can go to the owners and even whatever city was playing, okay, you'll say, I won at the Ittihad. I mean, before the match,
Yeah.
even if you see City's B team, that is why I said City are a very strong team on
Yes.
paper.
Yeah.
Even if you compare to Liverpool, that bench, that depth they have, it is unmatched in the
Definitely.
league, okay?
Mm.
Other team, I mean, their bench is so strong.
definitely.
You can easily, if David Silva is not there, you can bring in Bernardo Silva, you can bring in Gundogan, you can bring in
100%. They brought in David Silva.
Yeah.
so many players. So I mean, and they're all very, very fairly experienced. Leroy
Mm.
Sané is back from injury as well.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of options to choose from.
So yeah, but still, I still feel United was going to do well in this game because of the general uplift in mood.
Well, they could be. I mean, to be honest, I didn't see much of the match, but it could be that one thing I've noticed because of the possession and everything. I think United, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. I think because even they're lacking that depth, they have so many injury concerns, and they're playing.
United's definitely
They're
lacking
playing
that
every
depth.
midweek now
Mm.
because of either replays or
Cup ties.
cup ties, and the Europa will also start. The problem is your players are a bit tired, and they cannot provide that energy to attack the way United does. I mean, in the initial stages, so they will slow down. And City, they're a very different side the way they play. They like to make the opposition run
Yeah, but
with
this week they're
their
playing
passing.
goals.
Mm. But the thing is, at the moment, as in yes, and then I understand where you're coming from because you're right in saying that United has a very thin squad at the moment and they lack that depth. And in recent times they haven't really been very consistent with their runner form. So I do feel like they are supposed to be the favorites for this game, but there are chances considering all of these constraints, and obviously you can't really expect Bruno Fernandes to come in on his
No.
first game and start
And start
playing like a
scoring hat-tricks.
superstar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
definitely.
can't expect him to be doing that, obviously. But there are chances for them to slip up as well. But I'd rather, as a United fan, I'd rather go for the optimistic side and look at them
Let's
as
see. So prediction,
favorites.
guys.
Yeah, I'd say Tottenham City. City wins
2-0.
2-0 or 2-1
Yeah, same.
at most.
I'd go for the same.
Yeah,
I'd
and,
go for a 3-1
Wow.
for City,
yeah, and United winning 2-0. Finally,
Yeah,
United getting it.
2-1 to United.
No,
I'd go with
United,
2-1.
United's been defending well.
Yeah, I'd go for a 2-0 as well. I would go with Hassan's prediction. I don't know, man. Hassan's being positive about United again. Wow, good days.
So yeah, I guess that's about it for the video. Do
Guys,
remember to
please,
share the video with your friends and subscribe to the channel. Tell
Do
us.
comment and give us your feedback.
100%.
And what do you feel that Dan is back now?
Yeah, tell us. Do you want to see more of him, or should we just permanently kick him out?
Permanently kick me out.
We won't have anyone to talk about United.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys, thank you
All
so
right,
much.
bye bye.
Now this.